On Monday, January 22nd, 2024, will be called to order at 7 p.m. At this time, please join us for the invocation given by Alderwoman Tierney, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dear God, we ask for your guidance when we, as City Council, are tasked to lead the community where we live, work, and play. Help us as leaders not to ask first, how do we change this, but instead, what do we need to learn? How might we need to change, and to whom do we need to listen? Remind us, because we all forget from time to time, especially in the noisiness of the internet, that as city representatives, it is our responsibility to serve the common good of all. Remind us that no matter what ward we live in, everyone in the city is our neighbor, and we are entrusted to respect and protect those among us, our children, older people, people with low incomes, those who are hungry, those who have no homes, the strangers and new immigrants in our midst, those who live on the margins, those who are alone, those who are forgotten. Grant us the wisdom and courage to know and to do what is right and good and proper. Let's speak out when it is time to speak out, and listen patiently and receptively when it is time to listen. May we always be guided by the spirit of community, the spirit of the law, and most importantly, empathy and love. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. There are a lot of people here.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley.
Here.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill. Present. Alderwoman Pendell Charles.
Here.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Present.
Alderman Shannon Meyer.
Present.
Alderman Gay. Where are you? Alderman Savage.
Present.
Alderman Arnett.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the first on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item is ceremonial items, beginning with ID 2924, citation, response to Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter Fire.
And I will be throwing to Alderman Finlayson. How you doing?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Every day, our city employees work hard to protect our residents, our properties, our historical locations, our tourists, our visitors, and all of the institutions that are in our city. Sometimes their jobs seem easy, and sometimes it's obvious that their jobs are anything but. Very rarely are we given an opportunity to say thank you, as we do to other organizations and individuals. This evening, we have an opportunity to say thank you to those little guys who do the big jobs. Last week, while we were in the throes of a major storm bearing down on the city, we sent our non-essential employees home to keep them safe and out of harm's way. Little did we know that our most vulnerable population would be at an even greater risk. The Lighthouse Shelter had a fire that required an emergency evacuation. It was at that time that all of our departments jumped into action. I remind you that many of our employees had been sent home to protect them from the storm that was bearing down on us. 6 department directors called their employees back to work to help with the emergency sheltering of those housed at the Lighthouse Shelter. In 2 hours or less, the city employees jumped into action and were ready to receive those displaced by the fire. We just want to say thank you to those unsung heroes. Each of my colleagues will read the citations by department, and we ask the employees to come forward and be recognized. Alderwoman Tierney with the Fire Department. Mr. Mayor, would you join everyone down at the table, please?
I was going to say, Sheila, sometimes they're big men. All right. You guys want to come around? Okay, I have the privilege of reading this. Thank you, Alderman Tierney. And I'm very happy that I have the fire department. On behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we are pleased to confer upon you the City Council citation in recognition of your work to help the residents of the Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter when a fire made the shelter uninhabitable during one of the worst rain, wind, and flood events the city has ever experienced. As a team member of the Annapolis Fire Department, you quickly responded to the incident, then worked to quickly assess the situation, ensuring that all of the residents and families were safe and out of harm's way. When it turned out that sheltering at the location overnight was not a possibility, you worked with Lighthouse Management and called in support for the residents from other city departments. We thank you for your service to these residents and all the residents of the City of Annapolis. We appreciate all that you do. I'm going to present it to Lieutenant Joshua Dupre. That would be you.
And we're just going to read off the names of everybody, just so you...
Okay, and we have Battalion Chief Wayne F. Fredard, and we have Lieutenant Andrew M. Collins, Jr. We have firefighter First Class Rebecca Higgins. We have firefighter Joel Confer. And we have FESU Lieutenant Joshua Dupree. You're all in order. How'd you know that? Oh, wow. Could I please have the members of the family come up so we can take a photograph? Or friends, family, co-workers? Anyone? No, too many?
Stand alone.
All right.
Right.
And the chief, can we get the chief up there?
Come on, Chief.
Come on, Chief.
He loves giving speeches.
I was going to say Gavin and I were swimming in the flood.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Rebecca.
Thank you very much.
Alderman Arnett, would you come down and take care of the Office of Emergency Management?
Good. Take care of you. Sounds good.
So this was a very busy night for you, and just one of the many things that you came to the floor to help us with. So let me read you the City Council citation. On behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we are pleased to confer upon you the City Council citation in recognition for your work to help the residents of the Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter when a fire made the shelter uninhabitable during one of the worst rain, wind, and flood events the city has experienced. As a team member of the Office of Emergency Management, you already had a full roster of duties when this event unfolded. Working with the Lighthouse Management, you coordinated to call with the necessary departments so that the residents could be relocated, provided overnight shelter, and have their needs met while displaced. We thank you for your service to these residents and all the residents of the City of Annapolis. We appreciate all you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
is this?
That's
This is
awesome.
Tommy's.
Tom's not here, I'm
I'm
surprised.
keeping Tommy's.
Do you want to read the names?
So, Dave Mandel, Kate Zabrowski,
Okay, standing up, we've got someone standing up.
Over there.
okay, Nicole Torres, Chris Mead, Taylor Vaughn. Where's Tommy? No Tommy. Thank you again. That's your wrap.
Appreciate you guys, thank you so much.
Number 3.
Alderman Gay,
I have Office of Community Services. Aaron. It's a small office, but we appreciate all that you do, not just in this situation, but in particular, I appreciate your assistance in my ward, on the many nights, and so thank you so much. On behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we are pleased to confer upon you this City Council citation in recognition of your work to help the residents of Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter when a fire made the shelter uninhabitable during one of the worst rain, wind, and flood events the city has experienced. As a leader in the Annapolis Office of Community Service, you were quickly called into service to help some of the most vulnerable residents. Working with Lighthouse Management, you work to ensure the residents had their needs met while displaced. We thank you for your service to these residents and all the residents of the City of Annapolis. We appreciate all that you do.
Transportation Department,
Director Moore. You should be. Welcome. Thank you. For our Transportation Department, on behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we are pleased to confer upon you this City Council citation in recognition of your work to help the residents of the Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter when a fire made the shelter uninhabitable during one of the worst rain, wind, and flood events that city has ever experienced. As a team leader of the Annapolis Department of Transportation, you worked through challenging weather conditions as a storm passed through the area, only to have to redirect drivers to assist with the unique transportation needs of displaced shelter residents. Because of your work, your coordination, your rock star driving, I added that. Residents, including children and families, got safely to their destination, the Roger Pitt Moyer Recreation Center. We thank you for your service to these residents and all the residents of the City of Annapolis. We appreciate all you do. Thank you.
The family hearing?
Mine further says that
So you just got Tanya and Karen.
okay. So we have Henry Barnes, Karen Murray. Who's do I have?
Tanya?
Jamar Parker and Tanya Bates.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The next department is Recreation and Parks, and I have the privilege of presenting those citations. Is Ms. Johnson in the room also?
I'm working out.
And I'll read the city council citation. On behalf of the residents of the city of Annapolis, we're pleased to confer upon you the city council citation in recognition of your work to help the residents of the Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter when a fire made the shelter uninhabitable during one of the worst rain, wind, and flood events the city has ever experienced. As a team member of the Annapolis Department of Recreation and Parks, you had already put in a full day when you got the call to stage the auxiliary gym for overnight guests. You prepared the room by setting up cots and making the space as comfortable as possible. When the Annapolis Transportation brought the guests to the Pip Moyer Recreation Center, you greeted them warmly and gave them the dignity they deserved in a stressful situation, and stayed with them as necessary, even to help get meals from Bed and Breakfast Kitchen in Eastport. We thank you for your service to these residents and to all of the residents of the city of Annapolis. We appreciate all that you do. And the first citation goes to Rafael De Jesus. To Patrick Danmeyer. To Moses Batiste. To John Gilmer. To Norman Edwards. To John Moyer. To Jermarco Traham. Tyrone Brown. To Michael Griffin. And Gary Conley. Thank you. Did I miss someone?
Lakeisha Simmons. And Lakeisha, we don't have Lakeisha.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lakeisha, your name wasn't on the list. I do apologize. Alderwoman Pendel Charles, the Lighthouse Shelter.
Anybody here from the Lighthouse Shelter? Come on.
Oh, we thank so much the Lighthouse Shelter for everything they do every single solitary day. This was a unexpected experience, but as always, you all come through just like a shining light. On behalf of the residents of the city of Annapolis, we're pleased to confer upon you this City Council citation in recognition of your work to help the residents of the Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter when a fire made the shelter uninhabitable during one of the worst rain, wind, and flood events the city has ever experienced. As a leader at Lighthouse, you quickly calmed residents, assessed the damage, and worked on a plan of action. You worked to not only ensure that residents had their needs met while displaced, but also quickly worked to get a remediation plan in place so that residents could return to the shelter as quickly as possible. We thank you for your service to these residents and all of the residents of the city of Annapolis. We truly do appreciate all of you. Thank you all so very much. And I'm going to read the names. Josh Huff. Oops. Okay. Kevin Turner. Braden Thomas. Davanita Brownlee. Beth Roca. And Antoine Gay, I'm sorry, Antoine Gray, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you all again so very much. Any family want to come up?
We're all family here.
Alderman Savage?
Appreciate it. Great, thank you so much.
Members of the Red Cross?
All right, so the City Council and Mayor, on behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we're pleased to confer upon you this City Council citation in recognition of your work to help the residents of the Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter when a fire made the shelter uninhabitable during one of the worst rain, wind, and flood events that the city's ever experienced. As a Red Cross volunteer, you're quickly called into service to help some of our most vulnerable residents. Working with the Lighthouse management, you staffed the overnight shelter so the residents had their needs met while displaced. We thank you for your service to these residents and all the residents of the City of Annapolis. We appreciate all you do. The first is presented to Jessica Palm. The next one is to Jay Zutant. And the last one is for Courtney Gose. Okay.
She doesn't want to.
All right.
Alderman Schandelmeyer with the members of the Bread and Butter restaurant staff.
So the folks from Bread and Butter Kitchen could not join us tonight, but on behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we are pleased to confer upon you the City Council citation in recognition of your work to help the residents of the Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter when a fire made the shelter uninhabitable during one of the worst rain, wind, and flood events the city has ever experienced. With the shelter unavailable, the City of Annapolis worked to prepare the auxiliary gym at Roger Pitt Moyer Recreation Center to receive the residents. With no kitchen available at the Recreation Center, you were called on short notice to provide meals for nearly 4 dozen guests. Bread and Butter Kitchen has always been a friend to the community, and when you got the call, your team jumped at the chance to help, preparing and delivering delicious food on extremely short notice. We thank you for your eye to helping your fellow residents and appreciate all you do for your neighbors. Presented to Monica Alvarado, Bread and Butter Kitchen.
Right, is there anyone out there that doesn't have an award? Sheila?
Mr. Mayor, I'll turn it over to you.
Nice job, thank you, Sheila. And I just want to say a quick thank you for the coordination that happened. We were preparing for the storm a couple of days in advance, so we knew what was coming. We didn't know this was coming, but we have amazing people in our directors. I want to thank our city manager, and I also want to thank Mitchell, who was up all those nights coordinating these things, putting out press releases, put the signs on everybody's seat to be here today, got all those nearly 80 citations printed, so a big round of applause for her too. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item agenda is petitions, reports, and communications, beginning with update from the mayor.
All right. So, good evening. Tonight it is with a heavy heart that I share the news of the passing of Trayvon Latney, who passed away last week at the age of 56. Trayvon was an excellent and diligent team member of the Annapolis Department of Recreation and Parks, consistently going above and beyond to meet the needs of our residents. His supervisor, Parks and Facilities Chief Rodney Dillard, called Trayvon his right-hand man and said that his work ethic was unparalleled. Rex and Parks Director Rosalind Johnson said that Trayvon could accomplish tasks that would typically require the effort of 4 individuals. Details of the service are pending. To our Recreation and Parks family and city staff who may be struggling with this loss, I remind you that Human Resources offer an outstanding employee assistance program to Trayvon's family. We are so sorry for your loss. He will be greatly missed. And I'd like for us to take a moment to remember Trayvon and all he gave to the city for over 26 years of service. Thank you. So thank you. I need to give a shout out to Public Works and Rex and Park for their work with snow removal starting early Friday through Saturday. What started out as a dusting of snow with a 2-hour delay to city operations turned into closing city offices and numerous accidents on roadways. DPW crews worked in 12-hour shifts to plow and salt, while Rex and Parks crews worked to ensure that Pitt Moyer was ready to open on time Saturday. We also saw more people at our emergency shelter at the Stanton Center than we'd seen in recent memory, with nearly 50 people, including families who needed to get in from the dangerously cold weather. Our OEM staff and Erin Lee, the Office of Community Services, were on site, ensuring residents had what they needed. We are truly a small city with a big heart, so I want to thank all you guys for that. Thank you to everyone for attending to the needs of our most vulnerable residents. On another note, Teen Night for youth 13 to 18 has been rescheduled for 7 to 11 p.m. on January 26th, that is this Friday, at the Pip Moyer Rec Centre. It is free and will feature e-gaming tournament, pickleball, three-point basketball contest, DJs, food, and a selfie station. The Rec Centre is providing free transportation to and from select locations. You'll need to fill out a permission slip to ride on the bus, but they would love to see as many kids there as possible. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for acknowledging the hard work that the city staff do behind the scenes. We are very grateful to you all being here, and we're obviously grateful for the amazing people who work for the city. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is reports by committees.
Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. The Transportation Committee met last week and discussed an update from our parking contractors about some changes that are being made at Hillman. And we are continuing to make progress on that and making some more changes. And they're getting ready to create a city task force to study some of the issues going on in Districts 1 and 2 for residential parking. Our next meeting is February 14th. So if you love transportation, you should come on Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Alderman Gay.
Thank you. The Housing and Human Welfare Committee will be meeting in February. We don't know which date yet because our typical meeting is President's Day. And so we will be rescheduling. We also did not meet in January because of the storm that we had this past week. I do know that on our agenda will be the rental rehabilitation legislation, which still needs to be submitted for public notice. I know that we will be inviting the property managers of Fairstead and Enterprise back, as well as the staff of the Planning and Zoning Department to discuss the housing inspection process and some of the issues that we've had there, as well as HACA to give us an update on the CNI grant. And so packed meeting, but looking forward to it. It'll likely be the week of Valentine's Day as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Environmental Matters will be having a special meeting this Friday at 2:30.
Thank you. Alderman Channemeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Economic Matters met on January 17th at 6:30. We had one piece of legislation and a few appointments. We gave favorable recommendations to Mr. Eric Elson for the Heritage Commission, Mr. Rick Nelson to the Maritime Advisory Board, and Mr. Devin Neal to the Recreation Advisory Board. We heard O2923, Food Truck and Parking Mobile Food Service, which we gave a favorable recommendation with amendments.
Thank you. Alderman Tierney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee did not meet last week as we did not have any legislation or pressing issues to review, but we will meet Wednesday, February 7th at 10:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Pindell-Charles and
Thank you,
Alderman
Mr. Mayor.
Finlayson. Yep.
Ain't nothing gonna happen. Again, this was one of the comments along with many other insights taken from blind surveys collected from our Mayor's Summer 2023 pop-up resource fairs. Again, on September 26th, I announced at the council meeting that I'll be requesting $1 million to address our public safety needs here in our city. And I have remained true to my word. Again, with that being said, between September and November, I communicated verbally and in writing and discussed all of this with our mayor and some of his team. And as a result, I prepared a city council resolution, R6023, that breaks down how this $1 million should best be spent. So here goes again in summary. Number one, our Office of Emergency Management, who during the entire month of January performed well above and way beyond what the city has needed to survive a multitude of emergencies, from the tidal surge to the next tidal surge to the unbearable cold weather and other very important matters, as well as all that goes on behind the scenes. And then we could all look so flawless. Number two, our police department, training, education, coupled with recruitment, are the immediate keys to opening the doors toward improved relationships between our communities and our police officers. And for example, when it comes to access to significant additional funding, the need for a public safety grant writer and a grant manager. Additionally, an enhanced joins program, the juvenile offenders in need of supervision program that supports all the other youth and community outreach efforts. All these combined efforts and much more can definitely lead to increased retention within our police department. And these wide-ranging police department efforts carry over into number 3, our Office of the Mayor No Harm VIP program. Neighborhoods organized helping to avoid and reduce mortality, violence interruption prevention program, the Options program, the Options 360 program, and the Neighborhood Empowerment Leadership Academy. Overall, these no harm programs and others will provide a variety of individual and community services, workshops, events, and goal-setting initiatives, all geared toward good health and mental, physical, and financial well-being, self-confidence, self-esteem, leadership, and empowerment. And these no harm programs revert back to number 2, namely a police department that embodies their role as not only crime fighters while addressing violent behavior, but likewise includes and recognizes that community outreach can be an effective deterrent, as No Harm VIP concurrently utilizes and provides community outreach tools. And number 4, additionally beyond the $1 million, a new and much needed fireboat for our fire department. Also 2 crime fighting tools. Number 1, a citywide cameras program, and number 2, the purchase of the drones themselves, and the recognition of any costs associated with the Police Accountability Act. Again, admittedly, the resolution, which is sponsored and co-sponsored by our mayor and myself, is lengthy and is very comprehensive so that everyone can see what has transpired, especially over the past 6 months from July to December 2023. Hence, again, it's my understanding that since December 6th, our city staff has been in the process of preparing the necessary reports. Hopefully, they will be completed very soon. Again, I look forward to our city finance department providing us with funding options and availabilities, namely what funds are available now for what items, what funds will be available in a few months, and for what items, what funds can be available on July 1st, 2024, and for what items, as well as what and who we need to tap into if city funds are not available or not sufficient. Namely the state, and I stay in regular contact with our state senator, the county, the federal government, possibly grant funds, etc. And again, I'm most willing to assist our departments in any of these efforts at any time. Again, this resolution is being referred to 4 different city council standing committees, which allows every council member to weigh in, namely public safety, finance, economic matters, and rules in city government. Yes, public safety is that important. And again, at least one public hearing is to be scheduled on our city council agenda for this resolution. Again, for me, the blueprint as well as the roadmap as to how we as a city proceed and approach public safety and community and social services is very clear, especially based upon the 272 responses from our residents and thereafter the detailed discussions within our city that have all resulted in the creation of this resolution. And again, personally, I don't want the resident who said, ain't nothing gonna happen, prove to be right, and probably came from a lifelong resident. Let's all prove them wrong. Something's gonna happen. Thank you again, as always, for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Alderman Finlayson, sorry, just comments?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. I don't have or have not seen R60 probably since December, and so I'm not exactly sure what the Alderwoman is referring to when she mentions that it's been assigned to our committees.
Can you get a copy of that?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Can you get a copy for Alderman?
And I'm not sure if it's been assigned to the my committee. I don't have that on.
No, it is not. The fiscal report as well as the staff report and impact have not been completed. I did send it about a month or so ago, but I can certainly resend it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Finlayson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Rules Committee did not meet in January. Our next meeting will be on Friday, February 2nd in council chambers at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you all. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is comments by the general public.
Nobody signed up to speak, but would anyone like to come forward and speak on anything they like? Please come forward.
Hello. Hello, good evening. Janet Katz, 143 Spa Drive. On Friday, January 19th, the city's snow plows made their way through Annapolis. While they removed snow from some of my neighborhood, the end of my street was not plowed. I asked my alderwoman to advise when the snow would be removed, and she provided a link to the DPW's online work order form. I completed the form, but the snowplow never came, nor was the request ever even acknowledged. The freezing temperatures turned snow to ice, and my senior citizen neighbor fell and hurt herself when she was attempting to walk her dogs. My question is, when the city closes offices due to inclement weather, how are tax-paying residents supposed to interact with city departments to receive services we generously support through our taxes? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll follow up on that. Anybody else like to come forward and speak? Thank you all. I declare comments by the general public closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is the consent calendar.
Can I get a motion?
I will second the motion.
Wait, does he need to read the items in?
I'll read them. Consent calendar, appointments. AP 3823, appointment Mr. Eric Elston, Heritage Committee. Appointment AP 4123, appointment Rick Nelson, Maritime Advisory Board. And appointment AP 4223, appointment Mr. Devin M. Neal, Recreation Advisory Board. That ends the consent calendar.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk?
Mayor Buckley.
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gay.
Aye.
Alderman Savage.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill. Aye. Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is business and miscellaneous.
Can I get a motion to approve SA 21-24? So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, we begin public hearing, beginning with ordinance 0124, City Building Code updates.
Okay, anyone like to come forward and speak on O-1-24? Thank you. Going once, going twice. I declare the hearing on O-1-24 closed. Thank you all.
I guess it's not that exciting.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Thank you, Brooks.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is legislative actions, beginning with first readers, and beginning with Resolution R224, Restaurant Parking Lot Usage Pilot Program Extension for Outdoor Dining.
So moved.
Second.
Can I be added
you
as a
deferring this?
co-sponsor to 0124?
I'm going to suspend the rules if it gets passed on first reading.
Oh, extend it, sorry. I thought there was a legislation. I'm like, what? Okay, great. We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to suspend the rules to vote on second reader.
Second.
This has to be 100%.
Mr. Point of order.
Yes.
We're voting on R224?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If you rules pass.
Okay.
Vote on suspending the rules.
Just to suspend, this is suspend the rules so we can extend it. And so while they're still, that's what I thought. I was like, okay, roll call.
Wasn't that the intent?
Okay, all those in favor say aye, suspending the rules. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Second reader.
Alderman
Mr.
Arnett.
Mayor, I move R2-24 on second reader.
Madam City Clerk, you to call it?
Mayor Buckley.
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gay.
Aye.
Alderman Savage.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill. Aye. Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution passes.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is Resolution R324, Sister City Relationship with the City of Yuzhny in Ukraine for the purpose of authorizing a sister city relationship.
So move.
The bill will be changed.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Do we need to suspend the rules before you create those over?
That's what it's feeling like, yeah. But
When it
we
says-
certainly admire them. No.
When it says in the staff report, this sister city relationship unlocks some economic opportunities, that's good, but I'm curious, what does that entail? I support it 100%, but just some.
Alderman Chandler?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So basically similar to the Sarajevo one, most of this is doing through delegation conferences, people going over there, people coming over here. There's not really a formal trade deal set up per se, but it's generally just kind of seen as a friendly gesture, and people go back and forth between the two cities, kind of doing some cultural exchange stuff.
I appreciate that. And I have a question just off the cuff based off of this for the finance director. I remember when the Ukraine-Russian war first started, some smaller municipalities had investments in some way, shape, or form in Russian assets, I'm assuming, etc. Do we know if we have, city monies invested in, foreign partnerships in some way, shape, or form, or how far does our relationships extend with,
Director Dickinson?
Yes, Finance Director Jody Dickinson. So I cannot answer that question off the top of my head, but the only possible place we might have indirect investment there would be through the pension fund, that we have some international investments in our mix, and they could have some investments there, but I don't know specifically. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is second readers, beginning with O2823, city noise prohibitions and enforcement.
Could I get a motion to adopt O-28-23?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to postpone until February 12th.
Second.
Okay.
Is that going to be enough time? Yeah, okay.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor of the postponement, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is O2923, food truck parking and mobile food service in the city of Annapolis.
So moved.
Second.
Right. Alderman Shannemeyer, an amendment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So just kind of a little bit on first reader. The goal of this legislation.
Just move the amendment and then we get a second on it. Yep.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion on Amendment 1.
Second.
Thank you.
Amendment 1 is to address something. Food truck legislation as it is currently, or food truck law in the city as it currently is, addresses Ward 8 specifically. The law office flagged that as something that is problematic due to ward boundary shifting with the redistricting process. So Amendment 1 is the law office's rewriting of it to get over that hurdle. Doesn't impact the goal of the legislation. Cynthia can discuss it in more detail if folks have questions, but it's basically around that specific ward issue.
Okay, I'm going to vote on these individually. Any questions before we vote on the amendment number 1? Alderman Arnett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Chinameyer, are you saying this strikes the exclusion for Ward 8? Because I'm not seeing that in the amendment.
Ms. Reuter, I believe you can get in a little more detail about this. I consider this more the law office's amendment than my own, but.
Hello, Cynthia Reuter, Legislative Analyst for the Office of Law. The Ward 8 reference is struck because we legally can't refer to zoning per ward. We can only do it for a zone. So, and then there was a few other just technical changes.
But this amendment does not do that. In fact, there's no mention of Ward 8.
That's exactly the point. We removed the mention of Ward 8.
So should that not be a strikeout? Because the current code mentions Ward 8 as being the only one that's not following the current food truck. Where is it? There is, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, there's more pages. Excuse me. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Okay, all those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Alderman Shanamire. I'm sorry, Alderman Savage, sir.
I would like to move Savage Amendment 2.
Second.
Can I just explain this one? So my initial concern with food trucks was just the additional noise and air pollution from the generators. But Alderman Shanamire took me to one in particular in the city, and I looked at another one on I think between Alderman Gay ward, and they're both actually hardwired into the places of business through an extension cord. And so there wasn't that issue. So originally I was going to put something to require electric power, but then Alderman Shanamire again pointed out that there's a health department requirement that they have to have a backup generator in case the hard connection does go. So that's why the amendment is worded in that it'll be, let's see, where is it? So that they shall not use gas-powered generators as their primary energy source. That they'll only be able to use as backup. So that's how it's currently written.
Alderman Gay.
Thanks, and I voted favorably for this in committee, but I will be voting no for it tonight, simply because I think that it should include provisions to phase out gas-powered food trucks. Again, I'm thinking of individuals who may not have the ability to hardwire, and what happens to those businesses or that they provide or services that they currently provide. But I obviously agree that we should, be reducing fossil fuel emissions.
Alderman Shanamire.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was a pretty great compromise, and I'm really happy about it. I would ask the council to support Amendment 2.
Okay. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Thank you. Alderman Savage.
I'd like to move amendment number 3, and let's see. So I'm not sure if the committee's amendment 3 posted yet, so I just want to clarify.
I can't.
Could you read amendment number 3?
I'll read it for the record. Okay.
Down.
It's short.
Not coming
so
up on our.
It's short, so I'll just read it to clarify. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's downloading indefinitely.
Okay. So it's just one line, and this is one that we changed in committee. And so on, let's see,
I thought it was
if you look at B2, so it says under,
What page are we on?
on the first, yeah, well, first of all, the first page of the amendment, there's just a capital P on 2A1, and then on page 2 is the meat of the amendment. It would add a Roman numeral 2, which would say, authorized representative of any restaurant within 100 feet of the proposed food truck location. So the way the entire section would read is it would say that outside the historic district, Louisville food service vendor licenses may operate as follows. A would be on private property only with express written permission of one property owner, which permission shall include a starting and ending date. 2, authorized representative of any restaurant within 100 feet of the proposed food truck location, semicolon, or, and then the rest would be. And so the intention with that is, I believe that sentiments in the existing code, and it just basically requires that they have to get permission from a brick and mortar restaurant if it's within 100 feet. I felt like that would be a good compromise to because sometimes the uses may conflict, sometimes they may be supportive of each other, but this just at least gives the brick and mortar a say.
Alderman Pindell-Charles had a hand up first, and Alderman Gay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Savage, I didn't hear the word non-residential. Did you say residential?
No.
Can you read that again? We really need a hard copy because we can't open this.
You cut it out.
Okay, so we're going to take 5 minutes and we're going to get some copies there. So
Which page is this video? Page 2?
Make a motion. Do we have to have a motion for a recess, correct?
I can't get one.
He can just say,
Okay.
it's the
I'm
mayor.
trying to figure out where it fits.
You're the mayor.
Cynthia, do it in color, please.
You said there's an A, so is there going to be a Roman numeral 1 and a Roman numeral 2? No, it's going to be. I can't. So this is the first reader version. Sure, of course. You know how to use this better than I do. See, it won't come up.
We always access it through different ways too. I never use Granicus, I just go through the posted
Well,
agenda.
you're smart.
But the posted
But you
agenda
have
is
to-
showing.
Thank you.
But the posted agenda is showing.
Yes, indeed.
And Rhonda.
And now
God is
a little Kansas is going to be good, right?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go.
we just
May
made
I
a
ask
slightly
Alderman Savage a question?
Sure.
Alderman Savage, the amendment you're talking about, it's showing up on my document. Are we at recess? I didn't think we took a,
Oh, yeah, no, we're in a 5-minute recess. I thought not
Okay.
about what we're voting on, but if you had a,
I still have a question. So am I seeing Roman numeral 2 and Roman numeral 3 at the top of page 2? Is that what's being added?
Yeah, so the one you were looking at, ignore number 2. The only one that the committee wants to move forward with is 3.
Okay, so the one that reads adjoining residential property owners and, we're striking that.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
I move we get rid of Granicus.
No. It's great.
Why is it in I legislate but not in Granicus?
We will talk about it offline.
Sheila has a copy.
Cynthia, send it one.
Well, what you do is just amend the amendment. So when it comes up as a motion, just amend it. You're the sponsor, so.
So would it be a friendly amendment?
It'll just be my amendment as printed with one strike.
I think he's on the I think he's on the other. It's all good. All I know is after this, I'm trying to get
They don't need to vote to go into recess. They don't. No, they don't have to vote to go into a recess. He just says it. Yes, 5 minutes. Tell him sorry. Yeah, Cynthia left the room. That's probably why he doesn't know. She has on his headset. Sorry. Thank you, Hillary.
Are we still on recess? Or am I kicked out? Question mark. I can see myself, but I can't see council chambers. Oh. Okay, so can they see me? Okay, so I shouldn't drink a martini. Well, not that I am anyway. I always no. I was dictating a message to you. I didn't realize you could hear me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I can't answer this call because I know he's calling about legislation. Well, I can't say anything. I'll just be quiet. All right, thank you.
Yeah, but the one online.
Okay, we're gonna resume the meeting now. I think Alderman Savage had the floor. We had some questions for you, Alderman Savage.
Yes.
Alderman Pindell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Savage, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you saying that, and I think I'm wrong, but I hope so, you're not saying that there can be food trucks on private residential property, is that correct?
No,
Okay, all
it
right.
says on private, non-residential.
Okay, all right, I don't know why I got that in my brain.
So they would be allowed outside the historic district on private, non-residential property only with written permission of the property owner, as well as any restaurant within 100 feet.
That would be written permission from the restaurant?
To give it to
Yeah. And then.
Okay, thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alderman Shannemeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Amendment 3 was another good compromise amendment, and I hope the committee will support it, or the council will support it.
Okay. All those in favor of amendment number, Alderman Arnett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to make sure, so this is on private, non-residential property, and there are 3 different express written permissions. The property owner, of course, the private property owner, any restaurant within 100 feet, and then B, okay, no, that's it, right? Because B goes to public park. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, Alderman Finlayson, did you have any questions?
No, my question was answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion as amended for O29-23 on second reader?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt O-29-23 as amended on third reader?
Cool, down third reader.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Yes, aye.
Alderman Shannemeyer?
Aye.
Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Thank you.
you.
That ordinance passes.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is O3223, short-term rental licenses and regulations.
Alderman Arnett.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we postpone this because it has not gotten through the committee process. Do you,
Second.
February 12th, you think that'll be enough time? To February, the next meeting, February 12th.
Okay. Thank you. Got a first and a second on that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is O3423, street and park hours.
Is there a motion to adopt O-34-23? Alderman O'Neill.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone this as well because it has not gone through committee.
Thank you. Can I get a second for that?
Second.
Second.
Until what date?
February 12th, we're going to be busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to give us more time on short-term rental, but I was confused on the.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is resolutions, beginning with R5123 on second reader, fines for violating Annapolis noise restrictions.
Alderman Arnett.
Mr. Mayor, I think that should be postponed because it accompanies the preceding ordinance.
Thank you. Could I get a second?
February
Second.
12th.
Okay. All those in favor of the postponement say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is resolution R6123, budget process timeline for fiscal year 2025.
So moved.
Thank you.
Postpone it till next July.
Which one is this?
Oh, that was so easy.
Need a second, Mr. Mayor.
Can we get a second on that,
Second,
please?
yes.
Thank
I
you.
have a question on this, Mr. Mayor. Is this R6123?
Alderman Gay
This is R6123?
on
I got
R6123.
an email, and I'm not sure what the timeline of the process is, and they were saying that we had to send in capital projects or capital project requests by a certain date. I didn't even see that until after the holiday, and then I got a capital project request from a department that I would like to have considered for the budget. So is it past the? So
This is the whole budget process, not our personal request.
okay, I'm just being sure because I did want to. I just wanted to make sure I did not miss the timeline for those. Yeah.
Okay.
If I may.
Alderman Tierney?
I think what my colleague is speaking of is the capital budget and the capital budget line items. And if I'm not mistaken, there was an email from Ms. Connolly that offered us to submit them, and there was a date, and then there was a follow-up extension to that date, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what you're referring to.
I didn't see the follow-up, so
Yeah. Because, yeah, I didn't think we all saw that, you know? I know Rob did. He had the Netherlands wish list. Sorry.
All right. Madam
Shorter
City
than
Clerk.
Rhonda's.
Roll, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer. Alderman Gay.
Aye.
Alderman Savage.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill. Aye. Alderman Penelope Charles.
Aye.
Alderman Finlayson.
Aye.
Okay, the resolution passes.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the agenda is complete.
Right, is there anything else for good order? Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I have swift on that hand today. I have 3 things for the good of the order. First, I would like to say, in light of the tremendous job that Bread and Butter Kitchen did in our emergency situation, if you are so inclined, please head over there and grab lunch. They have a delicious menu. That would be really great for us to support them because they always support us. Through the pandemic, they provided meal after meal and coordinated free meals in many, many instances. I'd also like to say a special shout out to Blessed Tech, who handles our winter warming facility. They had an unprecedented number of people show up over the weekend and were there and provided staffing to make sure that everybody was safe. But in particular, there's another person, Daisha Conti, who is a resident. I called her and she came in at a few hours' notice and cooked food for those 50 plus residents that were choosing to have the warming center at Stanton Center. She did it with her sister, and they made meals for Saturday night's dinner, Sunday morning breakfast, and ensured that everybody had good, hot, wholesome meals in their bellies. So I just wanted to say a special thanks to them because at a very short notice, they were able to provide for those 50 people, along with our OEM staff.
And I would also point out, I think Leewood Market contributed some food as well, and they're another great community partner. We have some upgrades on the way for the Stanton Center kitchen and this new retrofit, I believe, and a lot of upgrades for that building. So thank you, everyone, for supporting that. Alderman Tierney?
Yes, very quickly, and yes, BLT on toasted sourdough. This was an oversight last meeting, or the work session it was on the community survey. I just want to give a shout out to Mitchell for putting notices on that survey everywhere you looked, and that was a huge effort, and I'm sure that Vicki would thank her again for doing that. So Mitchell, if you're listening, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Hey, Mitchell. Woo!
Anybody else? Oh, Mr. City Manager.
Alderman Tierney kind of reminded me that we did have a review of the National Community Survey the other day, and one of the aspects of it was really praising our staff and our team for doing a fantastic job in the survey. And tonight you all were awarding resolutions and recognizing our employees. And I thought that was a fantastic example of what they do every day. And I just wanted to bring that up and thank you all for taking the time to do that. It means a lot. Thank you.
All right, Sheila.
Alderman Gay.
Thank you. Will we have and I'm sorry I was unable to make it due to work, will we have a second opportunity to discuss that in our open forum? Because I was particularly interested in one slide that you all spent some time on where the city there was phenomenon that the city wanted 60% of the participants wanted more single-family housing, followed immediately by 80%, followed by 60% that wanted senior housing, and so forth, so on. I was concerned with the data that they collected. I'm sorry. So I'd love to have a second crack at that.
Alderman Pendle Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Gay, we did have a very robust discussion about that at the work session. So if you take a look at it, they'll kind of get, you did. Very good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Could I get a motion to adjourn? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.